Welcome back. In our last video, you wrote your first Java program and learned how every single line of Hello World works. If you haven't seen that yet, go watch our first video in the series. I will link it in the description below. However, today we are going on to something that makes your program actually useful: variables and data types. Right now, your program can only print the exact text that you hard coded into it. But what if you want to store someone's name, or their age, or a price? That's where variables come in. And by the end of the video, you will understand these four things: what a variable is and why you need one; two, the different types of data Java works with; and three, how to declare, assign, and use variables in your code; and the fourth one, the most common mistakes that beginners make. This is a foundational stuff. Get us right and everything else in Java will make sense faster. If you are ready, let's dive in. Let us go through the main data types you see or you mostly use as a beginner. So let me clear the screen here so that we can start. So we have what? Integer. So int, which is what? Whole numbers. So we can have what? Int score, which is equal to what? 100. Int year, which is equal to what? 2026. Then you have int temperature, which is equal to what? -5. So int stands for integer, whole numbers, positive or negative, no decimal. So what can we do? Now let's print out the values here. So we have what? System.out.println. Then we print out what? Our score. So the output is supposed to be what? 100. Then we have what? System.out.println. Then the year. And what will be the output? The output is supposed to be what? 2026. Then we have system.out.println temperature. And what is the output? -5. So let's actually run it and see. So we click here to run the program. So here are the outputs. You see, we have what? 100, 2026, -5 here also. Or the second data type that I want us to talk about is what we call what? Double. And so when we talk of double, we are talking about what? Decimal numbers. The integer is what? Whole numbers. Double is what? Decimal numbers. So we have what? Double. And when do you need double? Double is for prices, measurement, percentages. It can store a very large or very small decimal values with high precisions. So we have double price is equal to 9.99. Then we have double pi equal to 3.14159. Then we have double height, so 5.11. This is what? Double. And you can also have something like double GPA 0.75. That's not my GPA anyway. System.printout GPA. Then we terminate it. So what will be the output? Let's run it and see. Alright. So this is what? The GPA, which is a double, which is what? 3.75. Now we also have another data type called what? Float, which is similar to double. However, it is less precise. So for now, just use double whenever you need decimal. It is safer and more common. So if you were to declare the GP or the price. Let's say we would have written float price, then what? 4.50. That would have been fine. Then the third data type that we can also use is what we call boolean data type. A boolean can only hold one of two values, true or false. So boolean can only hold true or false. So for example, we can have boolean logged in. It's logged in, as a person logged in can be true or false. So true if the person is logged in. Then have boolean has subscription, then say what? False. Then boolean has when to determine if a game is over, boolean game over. If it's not, then false. So boolean is something that you use very often when you start writing conditions, like if the user is logged in, show the dashboard. If the user is not logged in, show the home page. These are some of the things that you usually use when you are writing out conditions. So for example, we have boolean is sunny. Is it sunny today where I am? No, it's not. So what will I say? False. However, if it is sunny there, then you can write yes or true. So out.println is sunny. So what will be the output? For me, as you guessed it, the output will be false, because it is not sunny where I am today. So what do you do? When you run it, you see the output false there. And then the next data type that we move to is what? Character. A single character, or char. And how do we define a character? So we write what? Char, which is CHAR. Then you have grade for writing what? Single characters. And remember, you use what? Single quote. Strings use what? Double quote. And characters use what? Single quote. So you have A, that's the person's grade. Then char, the person's initial. Then we have what? A symbol can also use what? Symbol. We have what? The at sign. This is what? A character. And so we can also print it to the screen. We have what? We can have a char, which is what? A letter Z. Then system.out.println. Then we print out the variable name. See, we didn't print out what? The Z. We print out the variable name, which will actually what? Output what? The value for us. So what will be the output? It will be what? Z. And then we move on to what? The fifth what? Data type. As what? A string. String name Isaac. String greeting hello world. The famous line. And string city Accra. See, there is something about string here. String is how you store words, sentences, any kind of text in Java. Notice that string starts with what? A capital S, unlike int, double, boolean, and char, which are all lowercase. That's because string is not a primitive type, it's a class. So you have the primitive data types, which are the int, the double, the boolean, the float, and the char. However, string is a class, and we talk more about the difference as the series progresses. So string values go in double quote, as I said earlier on. So for example, what we can have here is that we can actually print out what? Name, the greeting, and the city. So you have system, as you always do, name, then you have system, greeting, system, dot println, city. Let's run it. All right. So there we have it here. You have what? Name Isaac, hello world, and Accra. Let's also talk about combining what? Strings. What we call what? Concatenation. And it's combining multiple strings using what? The plus sign. This is what we call concatenation. And how do we do it? So what I can do here is that this is what I change this one to what? First name Isaac, then the last name, which is what? String last name entry. So what can I do? I can combine what? The first name and the last name together. So we have what? String full name, which is what? First name plus then put what? An empty space between, then what? Last name. Then what can we do? Can actually what? Print out what? A full name. Alright. So as you can see, you have what? Isaac entry here. That is what? The full name that has been printed here. And we can even mix strings with what? Numbers. Let's do that. So what can we have? We have int age. Just go to what? 20. You assign age 20. Then have our string message. I am. Then we add what? The age. Still under what? Concatenation signs, which is the addition or the plus sign. Years old. Then we print out system.out. Print line. Then what? We have to put our message. So let's run it and see. Yes. So here it is. I am 20 years old. So that is what? String concatenation. Let's talk about one important aspect before we even move further. Naming variables. Because a bad name or bad names will make your code impossible to read. So rules that Java enforces. 1. Must start with a letter, an underscore, or a pound sign, not a number. Your variable name should not start with a number. And there should be no spaces between your variable names. And you can use Java keywords like int, class, public, void, and main. You cannot do those things. And some of the naming conventions, Java doesn't enforce these, but very professionals or every professionals would follow these things. We use what? CamelCase. So for example, the first name or the first word is lowercase and each new word starts with what? A capital letter. So for example, you have what? If you have string first name, let's say this is CamelCasing. The first word will start with a small letter. And the second one starts, and the subsequent one will start with what? A capital letter. And also make your names what? Very descriptive. So for example, if you are storing the score for a player, it is bad to say int x is equal to 5. Though it will work, but what is x? Example, string what? S is equal to what? Alice. Yes, it will work. They will all work. However, it is very difficult for the program to for the humans to actually understand. Even for yourself, after a few weeks away from your code, you come back and you'll be confused. So don't name your variables like this. The best practice will be, let's say, int player score is equal to 5, then string username is equal to what? Alice. This is the right way for you to name your variables. It's very important. It will help you and your teammates in the future. And they will keep on thanking you and you thank yourself too. So what are some of the common mistakes that we use? Some of these mistakes is actually printing out the name or the variable before it is declared. For example, saying system.out. Print line, then you write what? Age. Then you're now going to what? Declare age as a variable. There is a bad idea. Very bad idea. So always what? Declare your variable before you try to use it. Don't use the variable before you declare it. That's a big mistake that beginners we usually make. And then wrong data type. For example, if you're using price, we've learned that price should be what? In double. You can't use what? Integer. So you see, you get an error. That's what? The required is what? We should provide a double, not what? Integer. So what do? We have to change it to what? Double. So if you're using a decimal, always what? Use the double. Choose the right data type. And also single quote and double quote. Single quote is for what? Characters, single characters. And double quote is for what? Strings, two or more characters together. And also, don't forget your semicolons. They are very important. Do not forget your semicolons. And the fifth mistake is saying that you are declaring an integer, which is number equal to 10. Fine. Then you want to assign a new value to it. And you come back and say a number is equal to what? 10. Nah. Once you declare a data type, it can only hold that type. This is Java being strict, and it actually protects you from a lot of bugs. So always choose the right data or values for the right data type.